Alrighty, guys, we are 4-0 in our last 4 college basketball tier package plays on my website. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video here today for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been doing sports predictions for free right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal plays on a website called patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, guys, I'm 4-0 in my last 4 college basketball tier package plays on that website. And the good news is we have another college basketball tier package play going off here tonight. Just a reminder, guys, if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to that membership for the next 30 days. The math actually works out to be just 99 cents a day if you sign up here today for that package. And of course, as an added bonus here, guys, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side, and total. What I do on patreon.com/BrockPage is I actually share with you which one of these free picks on these videos that I actually have my personal action on. We currently have over 505 members on my safe and secure website. And guys, just real quick, full transparency, I've never guaranteed any winners ever. I give you a good chance at winning games, but I never made any guarantees. It's not pie in the sky. We win games, we lose games. It's just a realistic approach to help you improve your handicapping. All right, that's just throwing that out there. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at Butler at St. John's, 6:30 p.m. East. St. John's is -3.5, totals 147 and a hook. And even though the Red Storm lost a bunch of games recently, it really ain't for a lack of scoring. These guys average nearly 80 points a game, and they're in the top 10 in the country in offensive boards. Joel Soriano is grabbing over a dozen rebounds a night. He's actually 3rd in the country in that rebounding category. The 6'11 senior is also the team's leading scorer with over 16 points a game. Meanwhile, David Jones, he averages over 13.5 points a game himself. They're facing a Butler team who lost 4 out of their last 6. They covered the point spread in only one of those contests. When it comes to offensive production, the Bulldogs are definitely not built for a track meet. These guys are averaging only 69 points a game. Now, when it comes to rebounding the basketball, Butler's one of the worst rebounding teams in the Big East right now. When it comes to the injury report, Hughes is questionable. Malloy is out. Meanwhile, for St. John's on the other side, Mathis is questionable for them. When it comes to the total, the Red Storm saw their last 3 straight get over the number. Meanwhile, Butler saw overs against the likes of DePaul, Cal, and K-State. I'm going to lean towards St. John's -3.5, over 147 and a hook. Next matchup, it is going to be Oklahoma State taking on Kansas State. And that'll be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Kansas State is -5, totals 138. Now, the one-loss Wildcats are averaging 80 points a game. They're also making 48% of their field goals. Keontae Johnson, he's scoring a team-high 18 points a game. He's also drilling 41% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Marquise Noel, he's averaging 17 points a game himself. They're facing an Oklahoma State team who lost 3 out of their last 6. And they got held to 67 points or less in all of those games except for one. Now, total-wise, the Cowboys went 5-0 to the under in their last 5 straight, 80% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Kansas State saw unders against the likes of Nebraska, Wichita State, and LSU. I'm going to lean toward Kansas State -5, under 138. Next matchup, little SEC action. I'm talking about Florida taking on LSU, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Florida's the 1.5-point favorite away from home. Totals 137. And even though Florida is favored away from home here, they did lose 3 out of their last 4. The Gators were held to 63 points or less in all 3 of those losses. They're facing an LSU team who plays some really tough defense themselves. They're allowing only 64 points a game. They're also in the top 15 in defending the three-pointer. Now, they're limiting their competition to just 28% shooting from beyond the arc. When it comes to offensive production, KJ Williams averages a team-high 18 points a game. He's also drilling nearly 50% of his three-pointers. Now, Adam Miller's second on the team in scoring with nearly 14 points a night. When it comes to the total in this one, LSU went 70% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Florida saw 7 out of their last 10 stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward LSU plus 1.5, under 137. Next matchup, a little Big Ten action. I'm talking about Michigan State taking on Wisconsin, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Sparty's -2, totals 126. And even though they are favored on the road here, the Spartans really haven't scored a whole lot of points lately. They've been held to 68 points or less in 6 out of their last 8. They're also facing a Wisconsin team who's really tough to score against. The Badgers allow only 62 points per contest, and they're limiting their competition to just 31% shooting from three-land. When it comes to offensive production, Chucky Hepburn's drilling 50% of his shots from beyond the arc. He's also averaging a dozen points a night. Meanwhile, teammate Tyler Wall averages over 13 points a game along with 6 rebounds. Now, as a team, the Badgers have marquee wins this year over the likes of Iowa, Marquette, and USC. Now, injury-wise, you definitely want to keep an eye on Tyler Wall. I just mentioned him. He is currently battling an ankle injury, so if you're looking to fire on this game, keep an eye on Wall's status. Isaac Lindsey, he's also questionable for the Badgers as well. When it comes to the total, Wisconsin saw unders against the likes of Minnesota, Maryland, and USC. Meanwhile, Michigan State went 6-2 to the under in their last 8. I'm going to lean toward Wisconsin -2. Is that Wisconsin +2? That's Wisconsin +2, under 126. Next matchup, it is going to be Texas Tech taking on Iowa State, and that's going to be an 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Iowa State's the 5.5-point favorite. Total's 128 and a hook. Now, the Cyclones should be able to get the job done at home here. They're limiting their competition to just 58 points per contest defensively. They also have a defensive field goal percentage of just 39%, really doing a good job on the defensive end of the court. Now, when it comes to offensive production, Jaron Holmes, he scores a team-best 13 points a game. Meanwhile, Gabe Kalster averages double-digit points a night himself. Now, as a team, the Cyclones won their last 5 straight. They're facing a banged-up Texas Tech team who may go to work here tonight without their top rebounder and their deep ball threat. Big Dan Bacho, he's questionable with a finger, and the long ball threat, Pop Isaacs, he may be inactive as well. Now, as a team, the Red Raiders have hit a bit of a rough patch here. They lost their last 3 straight. They failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10. When it comes to the injury report, once again, Bacho and Isaacs are questionable. KJ Allen's also banged up as well. Now, when it comes to the total, Texas Tech saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under the number. Meanwhile, Iowa State went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Iowa State -5.5, under 128 and a hook. Next contest, it is going to be Oklahoma versus Kansas, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Kansas is -11, totals 134. Now, this is a pretty big number in a conference game. I know that Kansas, they're in their own building. They're in the Allen Fieldhouse. But the Jayhawks failed to cover in 2 out of their last 4. And those were failures to cover against the likes of Oklahoma State and Harvard. They also failed to cover earlier in the season to Tennessee and Wisconsin. They're facing an Oklahoma team who covered in 3 out of their last 4 themselves, and they do play some incredibly tough defense. These guys are actually a top 20 defensive rebounding team, and they're limiting their competition to only 26% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, scoring-wise, Grant Sherfield averages nearly 17 points a game. He's also making 46% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Jacob Groves is knocking down over 41% of his long balls. Now, total-wise, the Sooners did go 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Kansas saw 6 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Oklahoma +11, keeping that one close, over 134. Next matchup should be a good one. I'm talking about North Carolina taking on Virginia, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. The Virginia Cavaliers are -4.5, totals 133. Now, I don't think the Cavaliers can score enough to keep up with UNC. These guys have been held to 66 points or less in 6 out of their last 8. And I know they do have a slow, methodical tempo, but still, man, UNC likes to move. They like to get up and down the court, and they like to score. Now, Virginia is also averaging fewer offensive boards a game than most programs in the ACC. They're facing a UNC squad who's a top 20 offensive rebounding team themselves. Now, the Tar Heels as a team, they're also averaging nearly 82 points a game. Armando Bacot, he's scoring over 18.5 points a night. He's also grabbing 11 rebounds a game as well. He's actually 6th in the country right now in rebounding. Meanwhile, Caleb Love and RJ Davis, they are averaging 16 points a game respectively. Now, total-wise, UNC saw their last 6 straight all get over the number. Meanwhile, Virginia went 4-2 to the over in their last 6. I'm going to lean toward North Carolina plus 4.5 over 133. Next contest, it is going to be Auburn taking on Ole Miss, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Auburn's the 2.5-point favorite. Total's 132 and a hook. And even though this is it's a tough conference game on the road here, I do think the Tigers should pull this one out. They're 12-3 overall in the season, and they're also in the top 3 in the entire country in guarding the three-pointer. These guys are limiting their competition to just 26% shooting from beyond the arc. And no real surprise here, guys. The Tigers are giving up just 62 points per contest defensively. Now, when it comes to offensive production, Johnny Broome is scoring over 12.5 points a game. He's also averaging nearly 9 rebounds. Meanwhile, Wendell Green Jr. is scoring a dozen points a night himself. They're facing a struggling Ole Miss team who lost their last 4 straight. They failed to cover in 8 out of their last 10. Now, the Rebels will probably have a tough time getting on the scoreboard. These guys average just 67 points a game, and they're shooting only 29% from three-land. When it comes to the total in this one, Ole Miss saw their last 5 straight stay under the number. Meanwhile, Auburn saw unders against the likes of Arkansas, Florida, and Northwestern. Give me Auburn minus 2.5, under 132 and a hook. With that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Give me St. John's minus 3.5, over 147 and a hook. Belmont minus 5, over 142. Kansas State minus 5, under 138. We're 4-0 in our last 4 college basketball tier package plays on my website. Give me St. Francis Brooklyn minus 8, over 128. South Carolina plus 20, over 131. LSU plus 1.5, under 137. Virginia Commonwealth, VCU minus 3, under 137. Fordham plus 8, under 128. Buffalo minus 3.5, over 154. Western Michigan minus 2, over 147. Ball State plus 1.5, over 144 and a hook. Wisconsin minus 2, under 126. Kent State minus 3, over 153. Bowling Green plus 4, over 140 and a half. Notre Dame minus 4, over 136 and a hook. Northern Illinois minus 1, under 136. Iowa State minus 5.5, under 128 and a hook. Temple minus 3, under 142 and a half. Illinois Chicago plus 11, under 139. Murray State plus 4, over 137. Seton Hall minus 9, under 142 and a half. DePaul plus 7, under 143. Oklahoma plus 11, over 134. North Carolina plus 4.5, over 133. Illinois minus 3.5, under 138 and a hook. Tennessee minus 17, over 132. Auburn minus 2.5, under 132 and a hook. Air Force plus 9, over 133. San Jose State minus 2, under 123. Utah State minus 9, under 141 and a half. With my next and final free pick, I'm going to lean toward Nevada plus 10, under 138. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. And once again, guys, we are 4-0 in our last 4 college basketball tier package plays on that site. And, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube or TikTok. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.